I love this game. It's this one right here. See, it's quality. It's in the top 5. It's great. It's fantastic. Actually, it's in the top 3, top 2. Thanks for watching. All right, up on center stage today is Titan Quest. More like tighten my grip around my shaft of my mighty broadsword that I'm using to fight the armies of Hades, because this is one of the most unique, exciting, and tonally bomb-ass ARPGs ever made. Titan Quest, oh wait, I already said the name. Ignore that redundant writing, is an ARPG that does not stand as a redundant entry within the genre at all. Not only do we finally venture into a setting that doesn't involve a majority of corruption or demons or blight or strife or piss and shit all over the land, or just the tried and true, the devil is coming out of the lair through despair, he's tearing it up, everyone's asses that is. But instead, we actually have a far brighter and much more grand setting, full of already identified drops, infinite town portals, resurrection spots, many quests all over the land, and of course a game that sports the Troglodyte enemy. Still had to have skeletons though. But I digress, because the old TQ wondered how cool it would be if you just assumed the shoes of an ancient Grecian in the landscape of mythology and started shooting bombs out of your hands. And just as a final mold break in the opener, just to whet your appetite even further, these developers, these lunatic bastards, would go on to make an expansion, right? You know, so far so good. Then 11 years later say, hey, I don't have anything going on this weekend, let's make another one. And another one. And then just 5 months ago, another one. It's like if Blizzard randomly announced the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th expansion packs to Diablo 1. So yeah, it's probably obvious that I'm a big fan of this game, and oops, there goes my you're supposed to be objective and not subjective, lest you be subjected to objective criticism of your character alarm, or as I like to call it, you spawn slip socket. I'm getting paid to do these videos. Alright, bush surrounding, beaten. Total game discussion, activated. If you are new here, I'm taking my pen to paper on the subjects of every ARPG's gameplay, followed by the depth of systems, progressing into opinions surrounding the theme, art, and music, and topping it all off with examining the community and developer support. By the end of the video, if I figure the game in question is possibly the best ARPG ever made, I'll put it into the 2nd round and continue playing it in my spare time. For each game in round 2, I promise a hardcore run and a full discussion of endgame. Anyway, without further ado, Titan for Time Quest. I'm getting paid to do these videos. Welcome to the FFF, or the fucking Flubber Factory. Yes, the F word is important in this sentence. Don't question me, because this game has big ragdoll physics. So yeah, the design on combat is nearly one-to-one with what you'd expect in this genre, but the way you and enemies interact feels very weighty. It gives you a good sense of your might, especially when you start absolutely blasting things into walls or holes where gear drops into pits you can't access. Wait, hang on, that sounds really bad. So it's not perfect, you know, what is, sometimes the gear follows the mob's ass into the hole and you get nothing for your trouble. Especially unfun if the enemy took 3,000 hits to kill, but hey, whatever. But this allows me a nice segue to talk about gear, something that is done extremely well in Titan Quest. First thing is first, delete from your mind the identify item conundrum. You need not worry about that. Everything in this game drops with its stats presented already, a nice quality of life change that has won me round. See, I love the idea of the mystery of an item as much as the next guy, but sometimes when you're getting fat loot, it's fun to just get right to the reading portion of the enjoyment. But that's the other thing that enhances this quick scan, quick glance item identification, the usefulness of several rarities. Unlike other games of this genre, you will frequently replace high rarity items with lower rarity ones. This is because of the modifier system in conjunction with the item enchantment system in affiliation with the badass well done idea system, all of which stands to make gearing very rewarding. The designers made the unique classification of item have good functional use, but a limit to how reasonably good the item could be. So like, you know, Zeus's large and unreasonably girthy spear would be a very solid item, really good across the board. It's big, it's beautiful, it's blue rarity, indicating that it's an item that will always roll the same modifiers. But then the Gremlin's decidedly smaller but still reasonably sized spear of shocking would drop. It has such a dynamic and strange range of stats that it can grossly outpace the blue item despite being a lower rarity of green. Not to mention you can slap on enchantments, of which there are a large number of, and with blue items you can't do that at all. And then there's fucking purple items. Oh, what a badass decision. Take the whole formula of item progression and tip the thing on its ass just by adding an additional rarity. In addition to the well done item rarity tiers, also just having things that give a raw plus percentage to elemental damage type or something like that is perfect in my opinion, because I'm a simple man. I like big numbers. Moving on to enemies, which are wonderfully done overall, there's a lot to discuss. Like how something as basic as jungle spiders can be complete monsters and Dragovian enemies will make you empty ass into pants. The way things run at you is frightening. You'll be minding your own business and suddenly the Tiger Man army will activate like a swarm of fucking ants. I genuinely think this game is top 1, maybe top 10 10 in terms of the monster design. There's always the wonderful Troglodytes, or maybe you favor these cuddly, lovable Yeren. And then the Dactyl, see this, that's the Dactyl. The Dactyl will take you, compress you into a cube, and shove you right up Hades' asshole. I love enemy design like this. It's so colorful and memorable. It's not bland-ass zombie, even though there are bland-ass zombie. Look, see, but honestly, games need more stuff like the giant turtle. Hurt the turret, kill a lot of terracotta, and ghost. But another innovative thing the big old TQ does is have a static game world. The map doesn't change, opting to have not randomly spawning dungeons. This is unlike most game out there, so much so that you might feel somewhat weirded out at first. It's almost like some magical feeling of thinking, oh wait, I've been here before. This is where the avalanche of Troglodytes came and ate my ass. I genuinely think that all of Titan Quest's micro differences when compared to the more mainstream options in the ARPG genre make it stand out in a big way. To promote exploration and dynamicism, the developers made use of a lot of quests, which is pretty novel. Usually you'd have a few bigger ones to attend to and maybe a side quest here or there, but Titan Quest ooms that up right jolly well quick. There's people all over the place that can't do shit for themselves, useless bastards. The good news is that they usually take out a second mortgage for you, as some of these rewards are bonkeriferous. That's a portmanteau of bonkers and terrificus, which isn't a word. Let's talk more specifics about the game's systems. I've made a couple other videos so far in this series, and I've had some back and forth opinions about complexity. With Path, I thought the systems were oftentimes confusing, but at least you'll never be lacking depth. With Torchlight, I appreciated a simpler approach, but disliked the fact that it was so basic there was almost nothing substantial to experiment or try. And I'd say Titan Quest is happily in the middle of these experiences because of an exceptionally well done skill system. Here's how it works. You start the game by making a character, but outside of gender and a fucking tunic color, you don't get to choose much else. Name I guess, but whatever, hang on, this part doesn't matter. Disregard, get rid of it. You then spawn in, and upon your very first level up, you get a class selection. There's a pretty nice number influenced by expansion packs and the like, but chances are you can find one that interests you. But instead of any old skill being attached to a required minimum level, you have a tree that you can invest points into to grow. So you don't have to pick a base level skill or anything. You can forcibly rush to the top of the tree by investing your 3 points per level. So if you want the first skill you use to be at the very top, that's something you can actually try to do. But that's the other nice part. A lot of these skills are passive, greatly benefiting from earlier choices. So you can invest into the tree, find a skill lower on that you enjoy, and power it up. And then that one probably has dependencies which greatly improve your initial skill, and it's just so good. Satisfying character development overall, especially when you can get a second class choice at level 8. So you can take some really interesting combinations, each one denoted with a different combo name. It's like Kirby and the motherfucking crystal shards. Put 2 and 2 together and get some rock cutter, that kind of thing. Along with skill choices, you have resistances to think about, and Titan Quest gives you 16 different ones to consider. Now there's only 8 types that deal damage, and the other 8 are about stuns and shit, but I think this is excessive in general, and oftentimes you need to just carry around spare gear sets for certain bosses or just altogether ignore some threats. Plus, discerning what type of damage is killing you isn't always obvious. I wouldn't even call this confusing design, more like excessively fucking bullshit. And finally, as previously mentioned, the gear in this game is very enjoyable. Just look at this thing, it's a 4-course meal. You've got skills, stats, percentage increasers. That's why I love skimming through drops in this game. They're just all over the place. Only for a little while though, because sometimes you just want to get on with things. Between new enchants you find on the ground, blueprints, all manner of equipable items, the different potion types, and everything else that loosens from the ass of the enemy, you just feel like killing monsters. Although by and large you put up with this glut of drops, because when the purple mega item appears, your brain drops the dopamine and you're back to having a grand old time real quick. Hey, look at the time, it's hurry the fuck up o'clock. Let's get into the theme. Considering this world is technically our world, I think that's kind of cool. The fusion between reality and mythological locations makes everything feel really different. You're not in the land of Bland or in the terrain of Tame, but you're in the real world Ramses' tomb fighting very unreal world enemies. Then you essentially go to hell, because of course you do. But with varying sizes of enemy, landscape and city that flows into one another, caves just off inside a mountain, of course they would be actually, what am I talking about? Where else do caves live? But anyway, caves that aren't annoying to explore. And then the music, it's very good. I like the music. The music's a good part about Titan Quest. It's the kind of thing that makes you feel like an absolute warrior as you storm around, triumphant music indicating that you're about to take on the forces of ancient mythology just as a regular ass man. And when you step up to Typhon, it's just a blast. You're fighting a literal in fiction, can be read about today, existing titan who should be by all accounts unbeatable. And then Zeus starts chatting with you. Huge fan, thanks for taking time out of your busy schedule, Zeus. Thanks for fucking not helping either. And as previously mentioned, it's not just mythological stuff going on either. I mean, here's Egypt, here's China, here's all these colors. I mean, it's just a fiesta of locales, and the game is all the richer for it. Here's Atlantis. Okay, they're not all hits, And as if we needed a powerful showing in the finale, how is the community and developer support? It's absolute Chad, that's what it is. Seriously, spelled with 2 E's, me clever, me making money for this. There's so many mods and stuff out there, and not to mention the 4 expansion packs that have been released for the game. I'm not even positive the original devs are the ones doing these, but they're official packs full of changes, additions, and locations. That's a lot of ins for one game, so many that I'm just going to jump ahead and put this game in the running for the best ARPG of all time. I've had only minor exposure to all the extra stuff the community has put together for Titan Quest, but it's actually so expansive that you'd need a few thousand hours to get the entire picture. It's just a tight experience with fresh ideas that were executed well. This game feels like a passion project made by people who understood what they wanted, which is all I want out of a game. Unlike our next game,